Alright guys, this is going to be the review of pretty much most of the Woodcraft stuff. The only Woodcraft items I don't have for the MT-09 are the sliders and actual sliders and stuff like that. So, the first thing I got from Woodcraft was the rear sets. I mainly got these for track days because I heard reports of people rubbing their pegs on the ground, even all the way through the feelers, and people were actually rubbing their pegs pretty much down to nothing. So I ended up getting these. I don't have them on their highest setting yet. Last time I went to the track, I did have a toe touch, but really that was more of my position, my foot position. I didn't have it quite. I was turning and I kind of moved my hip out, which caused my toe to go out like that. So so far I haven't hit anything. I don't think there's anything down there. I'm also not leaning crazy far. I still got quite a bit of chicken strips on that side, but when I went it was less on this side. I was leaning definitely a lot farther on the right than the left, which is pretty much standard for VIR since it's pretty much all right turns. So I got these. Really cool. Anything by Woodcraft, anything made by Woodcraft is just crazy good quality. It's they make these out of aluminum, obviously, but just the quality of the paint and the finish and just how the pieces go together are crazy good. So there's. Other than that, I mean, I don't know what to say outside of that. It's good quality. It's all adjustable too, so that's actually loose. Look at that. I gotta tighten that. It's all adjustable, so the foot pegs are adjustable. You can see you can go to different rings. You can raise these up just like the stock ones. I think they're on their lowest setting right now, at least for this portion. On this, I have it on the highest, and I'm about 5'11" with a 31-ish inseam, and that's what I run. I could probably try it up even higher. I'm sure every track day I'm gonna lean over more and more and get closer and closer to that point, but I'd have to lean over pretty far for that. The shifter is adjustable as well. You can adjust this area, which I really need to get in there and change that. I didn't even realize that was loose. But I'll probably use some Loctite. I think it says to use Loctite. But it's adjustable. You could switch it upside down for GP shift. When you order it, there's a little extra block. I think it's this piece over here. You can adjust it, and it'll be GP shift, which I haven't tried yet, and I probably won't try just because at this point I'm invested in this, and the last thing I want to do is money shift on the track, because I haven't really ridden this on the road recently, but I've got quite a bit of track days scheduled. So. Yeah, other than that, I mean, they're all adjustable. I'll show you the brake side. This one's not loose. So same thing on this side. Covers up the, they're a lot lighter than the stock ones. I think I have the stock ones actually somewheres. I think they're over here. Here they are. Here's the stock ones. So they're quite a bit lighter. They're not silver, obviously, they're black. I don't know if you can get them in other colors. I personally don't really care to do a bunch of like gold, frilly stuff like that, other than the levers, which I kind of wish I just got black, but they're pretty decent. But anyways, back to the rear sets. Same thing on this side, super adjustable. You will have to, sorry, I was burping. You will have to figure out what position works best for you, especially for different shoes. So like when I first set it up, I had riding shoes they're kind of like riding boot / shoes. They kind of look like Vans, but above my ankle, and those are fine. And then I switched over to my track day boots, which are thicker and have a bunch of extra stuff all over them, and I had to adjust them. So especially on the shifter side. The brake side I don't really care about. I don't honestly really use the rear brake that much, but same thing, it's adjustable, right? All right, so rear sets, highly recommend. Next are the handlebars. So quite a bit lower, as you can see. I did a little different than a lot of people, and I wanted to get even lower. So these are the 1-inch rise. bars. I've got it comes with XL bar ends, or these bars are separate because you can adjust them and remove them. So if you take a spill or something and they snap, you could just buy another one for 15 bucks. Highly recommend. That's super useful. You're saving, I think the OEM bar is like $90 or something ridiculous like that. And this is $300, but you get all these replaceable bits. Like everything is replaceable on the Woodcraft website, right? And I wanted to get a little bit lower, so I ended up using, here's the stock one versus I think it's a 2000, maybe 2008 FRJ thing. But if you can see, it's almost about an inch or half an inch lower, right? So with the Woodcraft bar ends on this, it was still up high, right? It was lower, but not as low as I'd like, and not as far forward as I like. So these FJ9 bar ends, which I got off of eBay for not 90, I got them for $25 shipped for both of them. So $25 total for both, which is also crazy cheap, because I mean, you can get those gillies that are I think like $300. It's something ridiculous like that. But it basically the handlebar was originally about up here, right? And actually it was like way up here, right? So kind of above the Yamaha logo. Now they're about, I don't know, maybe 2-3 inches lower, and definitely about 3 inches or so forward. And it makes you sit a lot more over the tank. I got my stand on, but so instead of sitting up like this, which is not, now I'm realizing it's not really going to show very well. And I'm not going to show my face because I don't really care to, but now you're leaning forward, right? Yeah, there's my face. Now you're leaning forward. So you're kind of putting more weight on your arms, which in turn, everybody knows this bike's really torquey. It does a lot of wheelies, stuff like that. It's going to keep you lower down, right? So you can still do wheelies. You just have to lean up a little, lean back a little bit more, do clutches, do your clutch up stuff better. But other than that, they don't hit. So right there, looks close, but I still got about a half an inch, right? So now there's still the risk of, I guess if you hit really hard, you might be able to bend it into there, but I'm not really too concerned about that because this piece right here, if I end up cracking it, I'm just gonna get carbon. I think it's like $100 and something for a carbon cover for that. So it's super cheap, so I don't really care. Same thing with this side. It's a little nerve-wracking doing that at first, but I could almost fit a whole finger in there. So, yeah. But yeah, this is replaceable, it's adjustable. So if I wanted to have like a more relaxing ride, I can flip them upside down, right? So all I do is take these bars off, these individual bars, and I've actually got one in here, one of the XLs, but I cut them too short. So that's why I ended up having to get the regular ones, but I didn't want the ones that were crazy long. The XLs stuck out like way out here, which I didn't really care for. So it's just this, and it's got a little plug in it. It would have had another plug on this side, which is, and those right there. But they're $15 off of Revzilla, which is pretty cool, so you can flip them upside down. When you flip them upside down, you don't need this spacer, and this spacer is just to keep it so it doesn't slam into there, right? Like I can even push that. There's no way that's going in there. There's absolutely no way. So I think of the older ones, you had to add more, you had to add something for the stops or whatever. I don't know where they are on this bike, but yeah, I'm rambling, and that's what I do. So, but yeah, other than that, the way these fit was, I mean, I've never really felt something that was machined so well. So this spacer, I'm pretty sure it's metal, and this is obviously metal, and this is obviously metal. You could put it in there, and it slid in there, and you could almost it would almost get stuck there by the suction of the air because it was machined so well. Anything you get from Woodcraft most likely is going to be very, very well put together. The finish is great. I didn't want to get, I think there's a silver version, and I don't really care for the silver. I was going to paint the risers black, but then I realized I don't care. More about form over function, but other than that, like I said, Woodcraft rear sets, totally worth it. And the Woodcraft handlebars, adjustable handlebars, are also worth it. I know there's a guy on the Facebook page, I'm not gonna say his name, but he also uses the Woodcraft, or he tried these and it was they were, you know, annoying his, I guess he had a wrist injury or something like that. So he ended up going back to like a rhizoma drag bar. But then he went over to Woodcraft and ordered an adjustable set. So you can get this, but even more adjustable. And I think it lets you adjust the like angles and stuff like that with also, you know, doing the rising. So it was a little bit of trial and error trying to get all the controls back and then drilling a hole in here, which is actually pretty easy. I just did a little pilot hole and then used the actual size drill for it. But you know, once you drill it, you can rotate it too. So, which is nice because the stock handlebar, if you had a regular standard handlebar, which is this, you've got these holes in them. All right, so one on the back and then one on the bottom for the clutch side. There it is. So if you did that, you'd have to keep your bar in a certain direction, right? Because then all your controls are going to be messed up. So if you drilled it off or drilled it too short, you either got a, you know, hole showing, or the hole's in the wrong spot, or if it's really like where you really need it and you just drilled slightly off, then your controls are going to move around because that little pin. So what's nice about these is that you just drill a hole where I did it by length. I just measured where the old stock one was, and then I did it on this, and then you can just rotate it wherever you want the bar to be, or you want your control, excuse me, your controls to be. So that's another thing. It's just super useful. And a lot of track days, the last track day I went to, the guy had these Woodcraft replacement bars for like $18. So great. They're just great. They're just great. So with the MT-09, I'm pretty much maxed out on stuff I want to do to it. I did just order a seat cowl from Ken Smoto. I think that's his name. He's out in, I think he's in Malaysia or Thailand or something like that. But it's a little different seat cowl. I had the Earmax one. I didn't really care for it. And then I got a different side panel for this part on the SP. I don't really care to cover that side because I like the stuff, but on this side I need to change it. But that's about the only other things I'm going to do other than just constantly replace tires and chains and brake pads. So thanks.